Hello, dear listeners. Using a simulator in the process of studying ALS provides advantages. Safe and cost-effective training. The simulator allows you to practice your piloting skills without the risk of costly damage to a real drone. Students can learn from their mistakes in a virtual environment where they can crash a drone an infinite number of times, which is especially important at the initial stage. In addition, there is no need for large fleets of educational equipment and supplies. Step-by-step formation of skills. The structure of the simulator and the training programs created on its basis range from simple to complex and usually include several stages. 1. Fundamentals of piloting. Practicing takeoff, landing, and hovering in stabilization mode. Movement coordination. Roll, pitch, yaw, and throttle control for smooth and precise movements. 2. Performing complex maneuvers flying in difficult conditions on maps with obstacles. 3. Applied missions. Delivering goods or patrolling the area. 4. Performing industry tasks, configuring and working with the UAV payload. Aerial photography, agro, and LiDAR tasks. This block is the most difficult and requires deep immersion and understanding. 5. Actions in emergency situations. Training the reaction to engine failure, loss of satellite signal, or a strong gust of wind, which is dangerous to practice in real conditions. Many educational institutions use a mixed format. The theoretical part is studied face-to-face or online, and practical skills are practiced on a simulator and then consolidated by real flights at the training ground. The main missions and the development of basic piloting skills. Orientation and hovering, trajectory piloting. To work with the simulator, you will need a computer, a desktop PC, or a laptop with the appropriate technical specifications. It is most convenient to use two monitors. One will display a 3D flight simulation, the other will display the ground control UAV control program. For manual piloting, you will need control equipment. The simulator is compatible with a large number of real remotes, for example, with popular OpenTX and EdgeTX firmware models. RadioMaster TX12, RadioMaster Pocket, as well as TBS Tango, FRSKY, and others. No equipment is required for autonomous flight. However, in real work, the UAV operator almost always needs manual control skills. In difficult conditions, it is manually controlled by the takeoff and landing of the drone. In addition, during an autonomous mission, the operator must be able to take over control at any time. Practicing basic piloting skills. Let's look at how to conduct classes on practicing piloting skills in manual mode. The acquisition of these skills in the simulator is an important stage at which muscle memory is formed, reflexes are developed, useful habits are consolidated, and fine motor skills are actively developed. The UAV operator needs the ability to smoothly and accurately move the device along a given trajectory, take off and land in the right place. It is important to pay attention to the organization of the workplace and the correct position of the hands on the control equipment. Recommendations on the workplace situation. The body position should be stable and natural. Let's list the main points. Both feet are completely on the floor. The knees are bent at an angle from 90 to 120 degrees. The shoulders are straightened, but at the same time lowered and relaxed and no tension. The monitor is located at eye level, and the distance from the eyes to the screen is from 50 to 80 centimeters. And most importantly, it is recommended to hold the remote control in your hands, holding it with your palms from the sides. This approach provides full control over the equipment and prepares the pilot for real flights, where a table or other support may simply not be available. Control equipment grip. 1. Thumb grip. In this method, the thumbs rest on the sticks and control them in all planes. This grip looks like a game joystick control. It is quite acceptable for controlling commercial drones that are equipped with stabilization systems. However, this grip is not very suitable for FPV pilots as it does not provide sufficient accuracy in dynamic modes. 2. Pinch grip. There are two main variations of this grip. First, the thumb and index finger squeeze the stick from both sides, like tweezers. The second option, the thumb lies on top of the stick and the index finger supports it from the side in front, creating a more stable structure. Both of these holding methods make it possible to achieve high accuracy with the slightest stick deviations and therefore achieve precise control of the drone's flight in manual mode. The location of the remaining fingers. The position of the remaining fingers depends on the specific control equipment. its size, shape, and location of auxiliary buttons, switches, or wheels. Therefore, there is no universal rule here, and each pilot adjusts the grip to his console. Let's consider mastering manual piloting and basic flight mechanics. Even a person without any experience can be trained in UAV management on our simulator. Special missions are designed for this purpose. In the section Basic module, Fundamentals of Management has 4 tasks. They will help the student understand which stick is responsible for what and in what position. All tasks take place on a small map, a test site. The student performs for separate missions with progressively more complex maneuvers. I will show you an example of such a mission. We give the command to start the engines and proceed to the task. On the screen, the student sees instructions and hints with a graphic representation of actions on the remote control. The teacher can only tell you how to start the engines, or for convenience, this can be set to a separate button or toggle switch of the control equipment. This greatly simplifies the explanation of flight mechanics for you as a teacher. When the basics of driving are mastered, you can move on to more difficult tracks, such as racing in an industrial area. There are no hints there. The operator must fly the entire route on his own, avoiding obstacles. At the end of the mission, the completion result is displayed. In addition to piloting skills, the following missions teach the main thing. You need to not only be able to fly a drone, but also perform useful work on it. A good example is the delivery of a first aid kit. The task must be completed on time, maneuvering the drone already on the big map. This training mission is based on the actual use of UAVs by rescue services. When you understand that the student confidently controls the drone, you can move on to more complex modules for the industry application of UAVs and FPV flights. The FPV module. With students flying confidently in manual mode, it is possible to master FPV piloting. The simulator features drones of various sizes and speeds, from small tinny-voops to high-speed 5-inch copters designed for freestyle skiing and racing. You can choose the difficulty and variety of tracks, as well as customize the flight mode. For example, it is better to fly small drones indoors in a gym and in the open air on high-speed 5-inch devices. Such missions allow you to organize drone racing competitions, conducting stages with tracks of varying difficulty between students. Free-ride module. If you wish, you can create your own tasks and train students to fly on large maps with real objects. The complexity and possibilities of such exercises depend only on you. On these maps, together with the students, you can practice various techniques of manual piloting. For example, flying in orbit around an object flight of 8 spans in narrow and difficult places. UAVPROF Simulator is not a game, but a professional simulator. It prepares students for real work with a drone, allows educational institutions to keep up with the progress in the UAVs industry, and makes learning safe and accessible. Key features: real UAVs of different classes, maps based on real terrain, industry missions. AFs, agro, LiDAR are a unique feature of the simulator. Learning in a digital environment allows you to flexibly customize individual programs. There is a huge variety of scenarios available, from search and rescue operations to FPV racing and field processing. You can start classes from scratch, gradually mastering piloting, and design your own exercises based on the class profile. Competitive missions make it possible to conduct competitions of any level, and from simple flights in a playful way to fast FPV races and hackathons.